arrested for that. Because you're not gonna tell me what I can do with my money. That's like HOAs. Like, wait a minute. I'm living in this house. I'm paying for this house. I'm paying for the taxes for this house.
But you have
and you can still take my house.
Everything in this house.
And they can still take it if they don't like what
but
you're doing.
You gonna tell me what I can do with my house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing as what that law Tracy was saying, Theo, with that the confused look on your face. Wait a minute. So I can decide what I want to do with my money.
But that's just it, man. Okay, so here's where I disagree. Like, this is that, I don't know, that social community type side of me comes out here. Like, when people say, you can't tell me what to do with my money. You're part of a society, so yeah, kind of we can. Because this part of the social contract, right? And the problem that everybody wants to be where no one can tell me what I can do with anything that I have, that's part of what gets us in these issues, is that we're so insulated and individualized that we'll be like, well, I'm gonna fight for this right, but I'm all right with this one over here. I'm gonna fight for this one, but I'm all right over here. And it's just like, but what are we trying to do as far as what's best for the nation?
For the
right?
Because we're talking.
But
yeah.
I'm talking about how, as a citizen, your brain should kind of flow, in my opinion, when it comes to the government politics. What's good for the nation, because that's what protects you, right? What's good for your state? What's good for your city? What's good for you, right? And there's all a bunch of other little things, but those are the ones I would say is your funnel as far as how you are determining how policies are enacted. But people are jumping all over the place, and they're just going to what makes me feel right or wrong in this moment. You didn't put any real thought into it. You haven't really thought anything through. And that's how we ended up with HOAs. We ended up with HOAs because everybody wanted to do their own thing. And what happened was they were tearing up people's property value. So people who were concerned about their property values being affected got together and created this monstrosity called an HOA. And then the HOA was an okay thing at first because it was able to get your neighbor who decided he wanted to set up a mock garage in his front yard. We got 4 stray cars, a broken down boat, and another car on bricks in the driveway, to not be able to do that. That was a good thing. But then the HOA became its own creature. This is how government works too. It became its own creature that had to be fed, right? So now they can come to you and say, hey, your house can't be that shade of orange. Hey, you haven't cut your grass in a week. Hey, this weird fee that someone voted on before you even moved here, you're behind on that fee, right? It grow out of these things.
Don't be late on the HOA because you're going to lose your house or your condo.
Right. I'm going to put a lien on your house.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to move out.
One thing. Let me push back on one thing. And just correct me if I'm wrong, Theus, okay? Really. But the only thing I'm thinking is people who are doing individual thinking in a process when they're in the system. But you're thinking, or how it came off to me is you're thinking they're being good actors. So what's good for me with my money, somebody could be using their money that could be terrible. Be honest with you. So it's like the HOA thing. So let me break it down a little more because I don't want to lose people, and I'm not in my right mind in a way, so I may just be blabbering like an idiot in a way.
I'm trying to follow.
It's sort of like what you were saying about the HOA. There may be HOAs who flat out just like, look, just keep your yard clean. You know, don't have no abandoned cars in your yard. Just tidy up. Then you have some housewives who ain't got nothing to do with the rest of their life, going around with a ruler in their hand, measuring grass to see how tall it is and everything else. That has nothing to do, and this is my point. That has nothing to do with house value. That has everything to do with power, and they have
it does
to make your life so freaking miserable.
It has to do
that.
No, but here's how we bring all this together. And we're using HOA, but like in the back of your mind, think of this as the government discussion.
Yeah,
This is why we
government.
this is why we have such terrible representation, because the HOA in and of itself is not a bad thing. The HOA in and of itself is so that we spread the cost of maintaining the community pool, or we spread the cost of maintaining that signage when you come into the subdivision. We spread the cost of keeping the common areas mowed and taken care of. And only an HOA can do that, right? Because we come together, we determine what this cost is, and we're going to spread the expense across all of us because we all care about our community.
Right.
HOAs are not bad for that. Just like corporations aren't bad. It's the people, right? So then we look at, okay, well, you have one version of HOA, like Marlon pointed out, which is excellent, where, hey, this is the feeling of our community. No, if you got a driveway, all your cars need to fit on the driveway, no parking on the street. If you have a vehicle that's not operable, it needs to be inside your garage or somewhere else. It can't be, on the property. Keep your grass cut. Have a good day. Thank you so much for being my neighbor. And you keep pushing, right? That's a good HOA, right? But then we say, well, then you get the crazy people who ain't got nothing to do with their lives. So they want to flex. And they come over to your house and say, well, your house, the grass is 2 inches high and we have a covenant here that's only supposed to be an inch high. Or you got bare spots in your lawn and you need to get that rectified within a month, or else we're going to, cite you or something like that, right? But how do we end up with that person? The way we end up with that person being in charge is because the people who are more rational don't want to take the time to be in the HOA. Right. They don't go to the HOA meetings. They don't decide that they want to be the HOA head. Right? The one who's going to be reasonable is busy doing other things with their life, and they don't want to be bothered. But that person who's got a chip on their shoulder, they got all the time in the world to go out there and become the HOA president and impose their theology onto the rest of you. That's how we got the House of Representatives the way it acts. That's how we got senators the way that they act. Because the people who are more rational are looking at this monstrosity and saying, I don't want to be a part of that. What I look like going in there and being one of 100 senators and 75 of my senators are crazy. I'm not going in there.
Just right? 75?
Hey, I'm giving it some room because everybody in Congress is not bad.
Yeah, right.
We literally had a Republican come on the air and flat out told his Republicans, give me something.
One thing
to run on. Give me.
But you gotta be careful with that too.
He was policy. I think he was saying.
Yes, give me policy.
Because what y'all need what you got to pay attention to is he was saying the stuff that we like, right? Because we all like, you're right. They're in here and they're not passing nothing. But we've known that for 30 years. The Republicans go in and their job is to not pass things. That's their job, right? But he's saying, what have we passed? What can I go back to my district and say that we've actually done? And people are like, amen, brother. That's it.
What did he propose?
Thank you. That's the thing. What law does he want?
Did you write something? Was you writing something? Was change something? Yeah,
no, I mean, because he's saying, give me something that we've done. But the thing is, for the rest of us, the things that he would have done, we would hate.